the purpose of the book is to share my journey, to say that from a girl that came from Jamaica at 14, left school without a single GCSE because she didn't understand what was going on, because she had hidden challenges of dyslexia and dyspraxia. So the book is to share it and to inspire others, to say that whatever it is that you're going through, whatever challenges that you may be facing, you too can go on and achieve whatever you want to achieve in life.
Amos Madra.
Keisha, a warm welcome to you. Thank you so much for joining us today. Author of the new book, Empowering Dyslexics. What a fantastic title. Cannot wait to get into this. Tell us a bit about yourself first before we get into your book.
Okay, so I am a mother of 4 children who are also neurodiverse. I'm a wife as well, and I'm an inspirational speaker and I do radio. So I'm a radio presenter on Radio Diamond here in Manchester. And I also do TV and film supporting artist role. Amongst that, I do many other things that, you'll find out a bit more as we go along. And the author of Empowering Dyslexics, Blessed and Gifted, which is my new book that's coming out very soon.
Fantastic. And let's talk about the book itself. Why did you write the book?
The reason I wrote the book is to share my story, because I came from Jamaica at a very tender age of 14, and I came here and started the education system, which I really struggled. So I left school without a single GCSE, and I went on to left the Midlands where I went to school and came to Manchester to live. And I was determined to achieve my goals of in education. So I went to Loretta College locally in Manchester, and I achieved my English language GCSE there. And then I went on to the corporate world. So the purpose of the book is to share my journey, to say that from a girl that came from Jamaica at 14, left school without a single GCSE because she didn't understand what was going on, because she had hidden challenges of dyslexia and dyspraxia. So the book is to share it and to inspire others, to say that whatever it is that you're going through, whatever challenges that you may be facing, you too can go on and achieve whatever you want to achieve in life. So the book encompassed information to help other people, whether you're dyslexic, whether you're newly diagnosed, whether you've got children, things to look out for, because being a mom of neurodiverse children also. So it's just an amazing tool that people can pick up and just skim through. There's a lot of chapters in there, and they can just go through and find out a bit more about me, what my challenges were, what my accomplishments are. I did achieve the last few weeks of my degree. I was diagnosed with dyslexia, so we'll chat a little bit more about that.
Fantastic, absolutely brilliant. And again, we are now as a society, we have more understanding about neurodiversity. I think in the past, young people were labeled and it was very unfair. So, talk to us about that time in education where perhaps, you might have found some difficulties and you might have, incorrectly have been labeled.
Yeah. So when I came to the UK, I went to started school and I spent 2 years in the education system in the UK. But when I started school, it was really difficult for me because I was struggling. I didn't understand what I was being taught. And because of my accent and the way that I sounded, I got bullied in school, which at the time was really difficult because it led me to have no confidence in my abilities. So in class, I would really not speak up. I would not ask questions because I was scared. I didn't understand anything that they'd be explaining anyway. So I just kind of carried on just carried on and not participating or interacting very much. So when I left, I had to sit my GCSEs. That was an absolute nightmare because being neurodiverse, we don't really like exams. Well, non-neurodiverse people don't like exams anyway. So the education system for me was a minefield. It really was. I hated things like PE because dyspraxia that I had at the time, which I didn't know about, is to do with my coordination. So going to PE and catching a ball. I really love netball, but there's been a problem with me actually catching a ball in my hand. So yeah, it was a real struggle for me, really big.
And what sort of changes would you like to see, especially as a result of this book?
Definitely. Having neurodiverse children as well, I've had to take things, in my own hand and notice that there's things going on with my children that I have to go into school and speak to teachers and especially Senko. And within the schooling system, what I'd really like to see change is very early intervention, early diagnosis with our children, because there's no point getting to the ripe age of 41. Some people are a lot older than that. Some people are teenagers, some people in the early 20s and 30s that are getting diagnosed. So the earliest that they can identify that there's something going on with that child and be able to get the help and the support, get a diagnosis, because having a diagnosis changes everything. In the fact that when you go into places like colleges and university, it makes a massive difference in the way that you're supported and the support that they can access. So we don't want children to be going through primary school, secondary school, going through college, going through university, and oftentimes it's university that it's been identified, and it's just too much of that happening at the moment. Too much.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the book itself, I'm really fascinated about it. Talk to us about the processing, the decision, first of all, to write the book, and then the process of going through it and the chapters that you've included and, why you included certain chapters.
Right. So I shared my journey about being a dyslexic mom because, as I mentioned before, my daughter, who's 21 and also one of my twin, is dyslexic. So I talk about in the book what it was like in her schooling days where I didn't know how to support her, help her, and I wasn't able to because I didn't know what was going on with her. And I talk about things like going to school in the UK. And the reason why I really wrote the book is to share and to create more awareness, especially in the Black community, because a lot of stigma, shame, and embarrassment still exist around learning differences. And I always try to call it learning differences rather than saying it's a learning difficulty because of the negative connotation that has to the condition. So saying it that it's a difference because we all, as humans, we all do things differently. We all learn things differently. We all process information differently. Being neurodiverse and dyslexic, for myself, I process information a little bit longer. It takes me a little bit longer to get my head around it. But when I finally get it, I see the bigger picture in a massive way and communication. So I have things in the book about when I came to the UK, what it was like when I lost my grandma, being in the UK, not having an immigration status, and what I did, and talk about my days in college and university, especially in university, because I was diagnosed in the last few weeks of my degree. Regardless of the challenges that I was facing, I came out with a first class honors in my degree. So that's why I'm putting all of this out there to kind of empower and encourage others that and inspire them as well to say that it doesn't matter. Just take your time, get the support that you need, and you can go out there and achieve. Talk about doing a master's as well during COVID. That was a massive thing for me. And hence one of the main picture on the back of the book and also inside of the book is a picture of me graduate the day of my graduation for my master's because that was a pinnacle for me, getting up to level 7 from leaving school without a single GCSE and starting a foundation degree to get so far. Yeah.
Yeah, what a wonderful story. And, credit to you, first class honors. When I, think about obviously with dyslexia, you look at people like Richard Branson who've
Yeah.
gone on to do incredible things. Do you think sometimes it gives you an advantage? You have like a superpower that, super focus where other people get distracted, especially in this day and age. You
Yeah.
can really, hone in onto something.
It's quite funny you mention him actually, because that is one of the most mentioned name. Whereas we have so many other greats and we have black role models as well, such as Steve McQueen, Will Smith, Usher. There's so many more. Oprah Winfrey, Whoopi Goldberg. They're all people who are also dyslexic, but we don't often. A lot of people don't know about them. So I've got a list in my book as well that tells people of our color that these are the people who are really Richard Branson is one of the greatest that has been around a long time and has been actively talking about it, but we need to see a lot more role models and from our own community to kind of showcase what the greatness of it and how you can achieve. Steve McQueen has done amazing things in regards to the arts and creativity. He's done the small acts, he's in charge of the directors, small acts on BBC. There's so much that he's done. And the thing is, we are big thinkers, so we're very creative and we see things as a bigger picture. So that's where his creativity really go into, and the communication side of things. That hence I do the radio, because I really enjoy interviewing people like yourself and talk about, share their story for other people to understand and get a better understanding of who they are and what they're doing in our communities, really.
Yeah. And the book itself, is it already out? Can we
The
purchase it?
book, the book, I'm going to Birmingham tomorrow. I'm going to be doing a book signing at the Dyslexia show at the NEC. I'm also speaking there in 2 sessions, and at 1:30 on Saturday, I'll be doing a book signing, and that's the official release of the book. And then next week on the 30th, it's going to be released on Amazon, the ebook format, and the following day, the 31st, it's going to be released in paperback. So that's the plan for the book right now. But I'm just so absolutely I'm proud of myself to know that I've come this far, and then putting the book out there for others to actually be empowered and understand a bit more about dyslexia and dyspraxia.
Congratulations. I don't know how you managed to fit it all in.
I try my best, Amos. I do as much as I can. It's not easy. I'm not going to sit here and saying that, I do own dyslexia. Not everyone sees dyslexia as their superpower, but personally for me, being the way I am and the way that I do things, I've kind of owned it to say that, oh right, this is why I excel at these things in my life. This is why I have challenges in that side. So it's kind of yin and yang really, and it's getting that balance and be able to get things. It might take me a little bit longer, but I will get it done, and I'm determined to do it and get it done. Yeah.
It seems to me you've intentionally become self-aware and understand who you are as a person. What could we do to replicate that and to also take a bit more time for ourselves to understand who we are and to become
Yeah.
a bit more self-aware?
Good question. It's realizing, because I struggled for a long time. I was undiagnosed until the age of 41. And the certain things in my life, and when I finally found out that I was dyslexic, it changed everything for me. But going back to your question, it's realizing it's about awareness. So once you're aware of the traits or the symptoms or whatever you want to call it that is associated with these learning differences, you can start to identify and understand yourself. I do things like I can be late for appointments. So I have these little strategies in place where I set my car clock 5 minutes fast. My husband always ensure that when the clock changes, that's in place for me. So little things, I'm writing things down rather than trying to remember, because I've got very bad short-term memory. So it's realizing the things that you may excel at and the things that you may have a challenge with, and things that you have a challenge with. Don't get bogged down in trying to do them or trying to overcome them, because dyslexia and dyspraxia and other learning differences like ADHD, autism, all of those things, you never overcome them. It's not anything that you can overcome. It's living your life and understanding yourself, knowing what you're great at, so knowing your strengths and your weaknesses. And I love this amazing thing that I've mentioned in my book as well about life hacks, is if you have a skill and you excel at something, and you know somebody else who struggle with that same thing, you can do a skill swap where they can do something for you and you can do something for them that you're good at and they're good at. So it's having that balance, and don't be too hard on yourself as well. For a long time I lived where I was very hard on myself. So I've just changed. The change happened when I really found out that I was dyslexic. It really did.
Yeah, yeah, such wise words. What final words would you like to leave us with today?
I'd like to say, understand who you are, be patient with yourself if there are people around you as well. And another thing, with going back to our children, pay attention to our children, pay attention to the things that they're interested in, pay attention to the things that they struggle with, because that can be a massive telltale sign to say that, right, this is where we need to focus on their strengths. And they may be having difficulties that they're struggling with in secret, in silence. You know, many of us carry around things that we struggle with and we never open up and talk about it. And if we don't talk about things, it's having that relatability and sharing our story. People pick my book up now and they'll read it and they'll say, wow, I didn't know that about dyslexia. Oh, I didn't know that person was dyslexic. Oh, I didn't know that about her. But if I had put it out there, no one would know. So it's very important for us to share our story. And I want to say massive kudos to you as well, because I've been watching you on LinkedIn for a long time, and I know that you've been doing amazing work. And that's what it's all about, you know, getting out there and bringing people to the forefront. So sharing our story is a big, big, big thing that we need to do more of. And as we know, within our Black community, we tend not to talk about certain topics. We tend not to talk about certain things. And the more we can change that and understand and have the awareness of certain things that's going on, we can actually realize. Because, for example, our children, you know, certain things that they may be writing something and they're missing out a word, or they're writing a word the wrong way around, or they just don't, they take a long time to grasp it. These are little signs that you have to pay attention to. So the final word is understand who you are, understand people around you, be patient with yourself as well, and be kind, and remember self-love.
Amazing. Absolutely incredible. And Keisha, before we let you go, how can the audience connect with you?
They can connect with me on LinkedIn. So I'm on LinkedIn as my full name, which is Keisha Adair Swaby. And also they can connect with me. I've got an Empowering Dyslexic Facebook group. So if they go on Facebook and type in Empowering Dyslexic, that's the brand of the book, that's the brand of the group. They will find me there. Also, they can connect with me on, I've got Empowering Dyslexic Instagram page as well. They can connect on there. And also I'm on Twitter. I'm on all the social media right now. I'm also on TikTok, so there's no excuse not to find me. And the book will be out on paperback and ebook on Amazon next week, the 30th for the ebook, and then the 31st for the paperback. So, yes, really appreciate you having me on, Amos. Thank you so much.
Keisha, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for sharing your journey with us. What a remarkable person you are. And, you know, you empower everybody. And I think, you know, we can all take something from you, and what amazing things we'd all be doing as well. So thank you for that. We celebrate you. And yeah, we thank you again. Thank you.
Thanks, Amos. Thank you so much. Catch you soon. Bye-bye.
If you want some amazing inspiration, check out the videos next to me, and I'll see you right there.